The patrol ship Aurora drifted at the far edge of human space. It was a quiet sector, known for silence and empty stars. Captain Tom sat in his command chair, scanning the dark screen filled with faint lights. The crew had been out for weeks without a single sign of life. Most of the team was tired, but duty kept them sharp. Then the silence broke. A faint alarm pulsed through the control room. Officer Myra leaned forward, her eyes wide as the screen showed a flickering red dot. "Captain, I am picking up a distress signal," Myra said. Tom straightened. "Human." Myra shook her head. "No. The frequency is not ours. It is alien. Weak signal, almost gone." The crew exchanged looks. Encounters with aliens were rare in this region. Many of them had only seen them in reports or holos. "Location?" Tom asked. 2,000 kilometers ahead, Myra replied. "The ship is drifting. It looks damaged." There was a moment of silence in the room. Helping an unknown alien ship was against safe protocol. They had no idea if the call was real or a trap. But Tom's decision came fast. "Change course." "Bring us closer," Tom ordered. Some of the crew hesitated, but they obeyed. The Aurora adjusted its path, sliding toward the damaged craft. As they approached, the alien vessel came into view, a twisted shape of broken metal, its lights flickering, hull cracked open. "Life signs?" Tom asked. Myra checked her screen. 1. Very faint. "Prepare medical bay," Tom said. "We're bringing them in." The ship's small docking arm extended and locked with the broken vessel. Dan, the ship's engineer, and 2 others entered in suits. They moved through the dark wreck, beams of light cutting across torn walls. Inside they found one survivor. A thin alien figure lay against the broken wall, breathing weakly. The being's skin glowed faintly in pale silver shades, its large eyes barely open. Dan lifted his communicator. "Found the survivor. Bringing them back." The crew carried the alien onto the Aurora. The medical team rushed them to the bay, placing the fragile body onto a bed. Machines hummed, scanning and stabilizing the weak pulse. Tom stood nearby, watching carefully. "How is it?" he asked the doctor. The doctor frowned. "Strange biology, but alive. Condition critical. We need time." The alien stirred faintly, its lips moving in broken sound. It spoke a few strange words none could understand. Then silence. The medical monitor showed a slow, steady rhythm of life. Myra looked at Tom. "Captain, you know what this means. We interfered. If this species has rules about contact, we may have just broken them." Tom nodded. "Maybe. But I will not leave someone to die alone in the dark. Human or not, life deserves a chance." The crew went quiet. His words carried weight. They all knew he had risked much by saving the stranger. Yet in their hearts, none could argue. Hours passed. The alien remained weak but alive. The crew gathered in the mess hall, their voices low with worry and curiosity. Dan finally spoke. "What if its people come looking for it? What if they think we attacked the ship?" Myra added, "Or worse, what if they consider our help as an insult?" Tom entered, carrying a calm expression though his mind was heavy. "We cannot control what they think. We only control what we do. And we chose compassion. That will have to be enough." Later, Tom visited the medical bay again. The alien's chest rose and fell in slow rhythm. Its eyes opened slightly. For a moment, it looked at Tom, silent but aware. Tom gave a small nod, as if telling the alien that it was safe. The alien blinked once, and though no words were spoken, there was understanding in the silence. Outside, the stars continued to burn cold and distant. But inside the ship Aurora, a choice had been made that would echo far beyond the crew's imagination. They had saved one. And somewhere, unseen eyes had begun to take notice. The ship Aurora moved quietly through the dark stretch of space. Days had passed since the crew rescued the alien survivor from the broken vessel. Life on board slowly returned to routine, but everyone knew something had changed. They now carried a guest unlike any they had known before. In the medical bay, the alien lay resting under soft light. Its thin body was wrapped in a pale cover, connected to gentle machines. The doctor monitored the readings with care. Slowly, strength was returning. One morning, the alien opened its eyes fully. The glow in its silver skin shone brighter than before. It tried to sit up, but weakness kept it still. The doctor raised a hand. "Easy. You are safe here." The alien looked around, confused yet calm. When it tried to speak, the words were soft and strange, carrying a rhythm the crew could not understand. Myra entered the bay, holding a small device. She smiled and knelt beside the bed. "We will try to speak with you. We will learn." She activated the translator, but the machine struggled. Only broken sounds came through. The alien's voice echoed as if from far away. Myra placed a hand on her chest and said clearly, "Myra." The alien watched her closely. Its lips moved slowly. "Errol." The word was soft but clear. Myra's smile widened. "Errol. That is your name." The alien nodded faintly. For the first time since rescue, the being had spoken in a way they could understand. News spread quickly through the ship. Soon, Captain Tom, Dan, and other crew members gathered in the medical bay. Tom stepped forward, speaking calmly. "Errol. I am Tom. This is our ship. You are safe." Errol studied each face. His eyes were large, reflecting light like water. Though his words were still broken, he whispered, "Why, save me?" The question surprised the crew. Tom answered without pause. "Because life matters. We do not leave anyone behind." Errol tilted his head slightly, as if the idea was strange. His people had never known such simple kindness from strangers. He lay back, silent, but the thought stayed in his mind. As days passed, Errol grew stronger. He began walking short steps in the corridor, guided by Myra and Dan. The crew watched him with curiosity. Some were nervous, unsure of how this alien might react. Others were fascinated, eager to learn. At mealtime, Errol joined them in the mess hall. He studied the food with confusion before Myra showed him how to eat small portions. The taste made him shiver, but slowly he adapted. The crew laughed lightly at his expressions, and even Errol allowed a small smile. In return, he showed them small gestures from his culture, raising 2 fingers to greet, bowing his head slightly to thank. Though words were limited, meaning was shared. Dan, the engineer, took special interest. He showed Errol parts of the ship, explaining with simple words and gestures. To Dan's surprise, Errol understood quickly. He touched the panels, tracing the energy flow with his glowing fingers, almost as if he could feel the current itself. "Sharp mind," Dan muttered. "He learns faster than most cadets." But not all was calm. Late one night, Myra noticed unusual activity on her screen. "Captain, I am picking up scans," she reported. "Unknown ships are in the region." Tom frowned. "How close?" "Not far. They are circling the area. Their signal is strong, but hidden." Errol, standing nearby, froze. His eyes widened. "Villery," he whispered. Tom looked at him. "Your people." Errol nodded slowly. His voice shook. "They watch." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. If Errol's people had found them, what would happen next? Would they see the rescue as kindness or as an insult? Tom spoke firmly. "Whatever comes, we did what was right. We will stand by it." Errol lowered his gaze, torn between fear and trust. For his people, outsiders were not to be trusted, never to be touched. Yet here he was, alive only because humans broke that rule. That night, Errol could not sleep. He walked quietly through the ship, stopping by the viewing window. The endless stars stretched before him. Myra found him there, standing in silence. "You cannot rest?" she asked softly. Errol shook his head. "Your people, different." Myra leaned against the glass. "Different how?" Errol struggled with words. Finally he said, "Others take. You give." Myra smiled gently. "That is just how we are. If we see someone in need, we help." Errol turned toward her. "Why?" She thought for a moment. "Because one day, we may be the ones in need. Kindness is never wasted." Errol looked back at the stars. A faint warmth spread across his face. For the first time, he felt something he had never known before from strangers' trust. But far away, unseen in the darkness, the Villery ships tightened their watch. Their judgment was coming. Far beyond human space, in the heart of the Villery home system, a grand council chamber shone with pale silver light. Towering walls stretched high, reflecting the stars outside. The council members moved gracefully, their forms slender and glowing. Every motion carried centuries of tradition. At the center, a raised platform held the council leader, Irion. He watched the reports from distant sensors, eyes narrowing at the strange data coming in from the far reaches of their territory. "Captain Errol is alive," Irion said softly. The words echoed through the chamber. "And the humans, they have saved him." A murmur ran through the council. Many Villery were shocked. Saving one of their own was expected only from another Villery. Outsiders had no place in their code. "This is impossible," said Laura, a senior council member. "Humans are weak. They take, they destroy. No reason to help." Irion shook his head. "We do not understand them. Yet here they are, and Errol lives because of them. We must observe. Their actions are unusual." Some members frowned. "Perhaps it is a trick. They could be testing our borders. They could lure our people into danger." Irion's eyes glowed brighter. "Perhaps. But perhaps not. We must see more." Errol's words tell of care, not attack. "We cannot ignore this. Send observers. Watch the humans. Understand their hearts." Meanwhile, on the Aurora, Captain Tom and his crew continued their routine. Errol moved freely now, learning the layout of the ship. He watched humans with interest, noting how they spoke, how they laughed, how they argued but stayed united. "Captain," Myra said one afternoon, "I think he is learning our ways faster than we expected. He notices even small gestures." Tom nodded. "That is good. He must know we are sincere, that we mean no harm." Errol followed them to the training room, where crew members practiced ship maneuvers and exercises. He imitated simple movements at first, then added his own graceful twists. Even Dan was impressed. "You are quick, Errol," Dan said, smiling. "Faster than some humans." Errol's eyes glimmered. "I learn," he replied simply. But not all humans were certain of the coming future. Some sensed tension in the void, a presence watching from afar. Sensors occasionally detected strange signals, faint but persistent. They were the silent observers sent by Errol's people, the Villery, keeping their eyes on the humans. Back in the Villery Council, discussions continued. Some members were concerned about the implications. "If the humans act as Errol describes," one council member said, "they may be stronger than we think." Strength does not only come from power. It comes from courage, from unity, from compassion. These are traits our records rarely show in outsiders. Irion looked thoughtful. We have watched for centuries. We have judged by force and dominance. Yet these humans, they do not follow our patterns. They protect their own, yet they help others. We must learn their ways before we act. A younger council member spoke with curiosity. Perhaps this is a chance to understand another species. To see what can exist beyond our traditions. They may be flawed, but they have something different. Something we lack. Orion nodded slowly. We will send observers close. Not to attack, not to threaten. Only to measure. Only to see if they are fools or something more. On the Aurora, Errol began to share small fragments of his culture. He drew symbols on the table, explained gestures, and tried to teach simple words. The crew listened carefully, fascinated by the complexity of his society. Your people must be proud, Myra said. Even if we do not know much, I see wisdom in your ways. Errol looked at her, eyes glimmering. Proud, yes. But strict. Very strict. One mistake, punished. Tom rested a hand on his shoulder. You are safe with us. We do not punish for mistakes. We learn, we help. Errol nodded, a small smile forming. For the first time, he felt hope beyond fear. Humans did not judge him as harshly as his own people might have. He began to trust that their intentions were genuine. As days passed, the Villery observers continued to watch, hidden and silent. They saw humans working together, showing care for one another and for Errol. They saw courage in small acts, decisions made to protect life rather than gain advantage. In the council chambers, Orion's voice carried a quiet command. Prepare for closer observation. The humans are no longer unknown. Their choices will tell us who they are. Back on the Aurora, Errol looked at the stars, feeling a quiet warmth. He whispered softly, almost to himself, these humans, they are different. And far away, the Villery began to realize that the humans' actions might be more than simple kindness. They might be something worthy of respect, even judgment. The Aurora moved steadily through the dark expanse of space. Captain Tom and his crew worked quietly, performing routine checks, unaware that distant eyes followed every motion. Sensors had detected several alien ships approaching fast. They were unlike anything the crew had seen before, sleek, silver, and immense. Myra spoke first, her voice tense. Captain, multiple vessels are scanning us. Unknown origin, but signals match Errol's people. Tom stood firm. All right. Prepare communications. We will make contact. Dan added, I have a bad feeling about this. They are large. Armed. We may be outmatched. Tom shook his head. We do not attack first. We act with honesty and respect. The alien ships moved closer, surrounding the Aurora without firing. From their positions, the humans could see massive shapes glowing faintly against the black. Then a communication signal appeared, and a voice echoed through the Aurora's system. It was clear, calm, but carried authority. Humans. You have rescued one of ours. Yet you have entered our space. Your intentions are unknown. You will come before the Villery Council. Tom nodded. Set course for their coordinates. We comply. Prepare all logs and reports. The crew exchanged nervous looks. It was one thing to save an alien in distress. It was another to be summoned for judgment by a species they barely understood. Errol stood quietly, his eyes wide. He whispered softly, they will judge. Tom placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Then we will show them our truth. We have nothing to hide. When the Aurora arrived, the Villery Council chamber stretched before them, a structure of shining silver and translucent floors. The humans docked and were escorted inside. The sheer size of the chamber made the crew uneasy. Council members, tall and elegant, regarded them silently. The air carried a quiet tension. At the center, the leader Orion glided forward, his glowing eyes fixed on Captain Tom. "Humans," Orion began, "you have saved one of ours. You have acted in defiance of your own laws and beyond understanding of our customs. Yet your actions are noted. You will be judged." Tom bowed slightly. "We accept your judgment. We acted to preserve life. That is all we know." The council murmured among themselves. Some glared, seeing the act as reckless. Others seemed curious, studying every human gesture. Errol stepped forward. Though still weak, he spoke clearly. "They did not harm. They saved me. They did not ask for reward. They are honest." A council member hissed softly. "You speak of outsiders with too much trust. They are untested." Errol's eyes flared. "Tested in courage. Tested in care. They are worthy." The chamber fell silent. No outsider had ever defended humanity before. The council studied Errol, seeing the loyalty and truth in his voice. The Villery leaders decided on a trial. "Humans, you will demonstrate your intent. Your choices will be measured. Your unity, your courage, and your care will be tested. Only then will judgment be made." Tom nodded. "We will show you. We act not for gain, but because it is right. That is our way." The council outlined the first test. The humans would be placed in a controlled environment where they had to survive with limited resources while ensuring the life of a fragile being, one of the Villery constructs, not living, but programmed to respond to care. Myra, Dan, and the rest of the crew understood the stakes. This trial was not about strength or weapons. It was about their hearts, their choices, and their ability to act together under pressure. Errol watched silently. Though the test was artificial, it reflected the values of his people. He knew the Villery would look at their every decision. A single selfish act could condemn them. As the test began, humans moved with focus. They shared resources carefully, planned their actions, and never left anyone behind. Small moments of courage and empathy were observed by hidden Villery sensors. Errol's admiration grew. For the first time, the humans of Earth were facing judgment not for their weapons or wealth, but for the strength of their character. Every decision mattered. Outside, the Villery Council recorded every detail. Some members shook their heads in disbelief. "Their unity, their care, it is unlike anything we expected," whispered one. Orion's eyes glowed faintly as he observed. "Perhaps they are more than fools. Perhaps they are something greater." Hours passed, and the trial continued. The humans faced challenges of hunger, fear, and choice, but they never wavered in protecting one another or the fragile being. Their cooperation, bravery, and compassion became clear to even the harshest council members. Finally, the trial concluded. The Villery would retreat to deliberate, but the humans had already made an impression. Errol stepped forward, watching his new friends with pride. They honor life," Errol whispered. "They are human." Tom placed a hand on his shoulder. "We will continue to honor it, Errol. Always." As the humans left the test chamber, none could yet know how the council would judge them. But one truth was certain: the Villery had begun to see humans in a new light, as beings capable of courage, loyalty, and compassion. The Aurora floated quietly in the Villery observation field. Captain Tom and his crew had completed the first trial. Yet no word of judgment had arrived. The Villery were silent, watching every action, every choice, every thought expressed through deeds. Myra looked at Tom as they walked through the corridor. "I think they are testing more than skill," she said. "It is about who we are, not what we can do." Tom nodded. "Exactly. And we must continue to show them the best of humanity. That is all we can do." The second trial began without warning. The humans were placed in a simulated environment, a world of scarce resources and sudden dangers. The Villery observers monitored every decision. Dan examined the field with careful eyes. We have to ration food and water. The construct is fragile. One wrong move and it could fail. Myra added, and fear will test us. We cannot panic. We must stay united. Errol observed silently. His silver skin glowed faintly in reflection of the simulation. They will learn, he whispered. Humans, they are stronger than they seem. The trial started with sudden challenges. A portion of the habitat collapsed, forcing the crew to work together to save the construct. Tom coordinated carefully. Myra, check the supply. Dan, stabilize the structure. Everyone else, protect the being. Each crew member acted without hesitation. They worked together, their focus on preserving life. When fear struck, they encouraged each other. Their unity impressed Errol, who had rarely seen such cooperation outside Villery ranks. The Villery observers exchanged quiet words. Observe the courage of their decisions, Irian commanded. They do not act for glory or reward. Their choices are guided by care, loyalty, and logic combined. This is unusual. Some council members frowned. They are unpredictable. Perhaps dangerous in ways we cannot foresee. Irian's eyes glowed brighter. Or perhaps they are something more. We must continue watching. Their heart may be the true measure of strength. The humans faced further challenges. Simulated storms, sudden scarcity of supplies, and deceptive paths that led to dead ends tested their judgment. Each time, they paused, considered, and chose the path that protected everyone, including the fragile construct. Myra guided Errol through some tasks, showing him how humans solved problems with cooperation and care. Errol watched in wonder. They think differently. They see life as equal. Not just their own, he whispered. Dan added his own observation. They never leave anyone behind. They trust each other. That trust is their strength. Even when exhaustion set in, the humans continued. They shared what little food and water remained. They created safe paths and improvised tools. Errol began to see that the humans' actions were more powerful than any technology. After hours of testing, the Villery introduced a final challenge. A simulated predator was released, threatening the construct and the crew alike. Panic might have broken them, yet the humans stood firm. Tom shouted instructions calmly. Stay together. Protect the life of the construct first. Every action must count. The crew acted with precision. Each member risked themselves to protect the weak, ensuring no harm came to anyone under their care. They faced fear directly but did not let it control them. Errol's eyes glimmered with pride. They are brave. Not because of power, but because of choice. The Villery Council fell silent as they watched. Some members could not hide their awe. The humans had not only survived, they had demonstrated empathy, loyalty, courage, and unity. Traits the Villery valued above all, yet rarely saw in outsiders. When the trial ended, the humans were exhausted but unharmed. Tom spoke quietly to the crew. You did well. Every choice, every act, mattered. That is the true test. Errol approached, his expression soft but firm. Your people, they are remarkable. You act for what is right. Not for reward. Not for fear. Only, for life. Myra smiled. That is our way. We cannot change it. We can only live it. The Villery Council retreated to deliberate. The humans waited, unsure of the outcome but confident in their actions. Even Errol, once fearful for their fate, now trusted in their courage. Irian's voice carried to the chamber in whispers only the council could hear. Observe carefully. These humans may be the first outsiders worthy of our respect. Their strength lies not in weapons or power, but in unity and heart. That is a rare gift. And far beyond the simulation, the humans of Earth had begun to shine in the eyes of the Villery, proving that compassion, courage, and loyalty could measure as much as any force of battle. The Aurora floated quietly in the Villery observation field. Captain Tom and his crew had completed every trial. They had faced hunger, danger, fear, and uncertainty, yet each time, they chose courage, unity, and care. Still, no word of judgment had arrived. The crew gathered in the mess hall, nervous but determined. Errol sat quietly in a corner, his silver skin glowing faintly. He had watched humans act with honesty and bravery. He understood that the Council's decision would determine not just the crew's future, but humanity's place in the wider galaxy. Myra spoke first, breaking the silence. "Captain, they are taking their time. It feels like we are waiting for something very important." Tom nodded. "Yes. But waiting does not change what we have done. Every choice we made was true. That is all we can offer." Dan sighed. "I just hope that is enough. We cannot control their judgment, only our actions." Errol stepped forward. His large eyes met theirs. "Humans, your hearts are true. I have seen it. They will see it too. I hope they understand." The Villery Council chamber opened before the humans. The grand room shimmered in pale silver light. Council members moved gracefully, their eyes fixed on the crew. At the center, Orion, the leader, floated slightly above the ground. His expression was calm but powerful. "Humans," Orion began, "you have faced our trials. You have endured hunger, danger, and fear. You have shown courage, loyalty, and care. Yet the question remains why?" Tom stepped forward, his voice steady. "Because it is right. Life is worth protecting. We act not for reward, not for power, but because helping others is what we must do." The council observed quietly. Errol moved closer to them, his voice steady. "They are honest. They do not seek gain. They saved me without thought for themselves. That is why they are human." A senior council member whispered to another. "They speak differently than any outsider we have observed. They value life over advantage. That is rare." Orion's eyes glowed faintly as he considered. "Indeed. Their strength is not in power, but in unity and heart. Their choices reflect a character worthy of notice." The council began to debate. Some argued for caution. "We cannot let outsiders enter our alliances lightly. One mistake could cost us greatly," one member said. Others spoke in defense. "Look at their actions. They did not harm, they protected. Their courage is not forced by law, but chosen freely. That is rare. That is true strength." Errol watched closely. He could sense the tension. His people had never granted respect to outsiders so easily. But he knew humans had earned it, not by words, but by deeds. Finally, Orion addressed the humans directly. "We have observed your choices. We have watched your hearts. You have faced every challenge without deceit, without selfishness. You acted with care for life, and loyalty to one another." Tom stood tall, his eyes steady. "We did what we must. That is all we can do." Orion's expression softened. "You have proven yourselves worthy. Not by force, not by power, but by your actions. You are recognized." A murmur ran through the council. Recognition from the Villery was a rare gift. Errol stepped forward, proud and relieved. "They saved one of us," he said, "and so we judge them as one of us. They are worthy." The humans looked at each other, understanding the weight of this moment. It was not just survival. It was respect, acceptance, and a new beginning. Myra smiled softly. "Captain, we did it. They see us." Tom nodded, his voice quiet but strong. "Yes. and we will continue to prove ourselves in every choice we make. This is only the beginning. Even the Villery Council members who had doubted began to acknowledge the humans. They had demonstrated courage, unity, and care beyond expectation. Orion's final words echoed in the chamber. Let this serve as the first understanding between our peoples. Your actions have shown that life, courage, and loyalty are stronger than any weapon. You have earned your place in the wider circle of civilizations. As the humans returned to the Aurora, Aryl walked beside them. Your people, they are different. I have never seen outsiders act with such courage and honor. I am proud to know you. Tom placed a hand on Aryl's shoulder. And we are proud to know you. You taught us, too, that life is valuable, and that compassion matters. The crew gathered in the viewing deck, looking out at the stars. They had faced judgment, fear, and challenge. And now, humanity had taken its first step into a wider galaxy, not by force, but by the strength of character. Somewhere far away, the Villery Council would continue to watch and learn from them. But for now, the humans of Earth had earned respect, not as conquerors, but as beings of courage, loyalty, and heart. And Aryl, once fragile and lost, now stood beside them, a living symbol of what humanity had achieved, the power to inspire trust, friendship, and admiration across the stars. The Aurora glided quietly through the stars, its silver hull reflecting distant lights. Captain Tom stood on the bridge, looking at the vast expanse of space. The trials were over. The judgment had been made. Humanity was no longer unknown to the Villery. Myra joined him at the viewport. It feels different now, she said softly. Like the stars are watching us with new eyes. Tom nodded. They are. And now we have a chance to show that humanity is worthy of their trust. Our actions matter as much as our words. Aryl stood nearby, his glowing form calm and serene. Your people, they have impressed my people. They have proven that life and care are stronger than fear and power. I have never seen such courage. Tom smiled. And we could not have done it without you, Aryl. You helped us understand each other. The Aurora received a new transmission. This time, it was not a summons for judgment, but an invitation. The Villery Council welcomed humanity into a broader alliance of civilizations, a place where species could learn from each other, share knowledge, and grow together. Dan's eyes widened as he read the message. We did it, he said. They trust us. They respect us. Myra nodded, feeling a surge of pride. It is not just trust. It is recognition. We have earned a place among them. Aryl stepped forward, his silver skin shimmering in the soft lights of the bridge. Your people are different. You act for what is right, even when it is not easy. That is why my people respect you. You do not fight for power or fear. You fight for life. Tom placed a hand on Aryl's shoulder. We always have, Aryl. And we always will. As the crew settled into the realization of their achievement, the Aurora began its journey back to human space. Yet this journey was different. Humanity had become more than explorers. They were ambassadors of courage, compassion, and unity. In the days that followed, Aryl learned more from the crew. He observed their small acts of care, how they shared food, how they encouraged one another, and how they celebrated small successes together. Each act, though simple, reflected the heart of humanity. You are wise, Tom, Aryl said one evening as they watched the stars. Your people, they understand the value of life. They are strong because of it, not in spite of it. Tom smiled. That is the best gift we can give. And the best lesson we can learn from each other. The Villery watchers remained silent but observant. Their judgment was complete, yet they continued to monitor humanity with curiosity and respect. For the first time, they saw a species that was different, not by power, but by the strength of character. Orion, the council leader, reflected quietly. They saved one of ours, he said to the chamber. And so we judged them all. Their actions reveal a heart that deserves recognition. This is rare in the galaxy. The words spread quietly among the Villery. Recognition of humans as a worthy species became known throughout their ranks. Arel's people began to prepare to meet humanity as allies, not as distant strangers. Back on the Aurora, the crew celebrated quietly. It was not a celebration of conquest, but a celebration of life and unity. Each member felt the weight of their achievement not in victory over others, but in the respect earned through honesty, courage, and compassion. Arel stood beside them, feeling for the first time that he belonged somewhere beyond fear and expectation. "I will stay with you," he said softly. "To learn more, and to be part of what you have created." Tom nodded, warmth in his voice. "Then welcome aboard, Arel. You are part of this crew, and part of our journey." The crew looked at the stars, feeling the vast possibilities ahead. Humanity had taken its first true step into the wider galaxy. They had shown that courage, loyalty, and care could shine brighter than any weapon, and that respect could be earned without fear or force. As the Aurora continued its journey, Arel looked out at the stars. "Your people, they are remarkable," he whispered. "They have shown that life is precious, and that kindness is strength. I will tell my people." Myra smiled at Tom. "We have done something bigger than we imagined." Tom nodded. "Yes. We have shown that humanity is worthy of trust, worthy of respect, and capable of greatness. This is only the beginning. The stars are wide, and our journey is just starting." Above them, the galaxy stretched vast and endless. But now, humanity had earned a place among the stars not as conquerors, but as a people of courage, heart, and honor. And Arel, once a stranger in need, now stood among them as a friend and witness, proof that one act of compassion could change the view of an entire species. They had saved one of theirs. And in doing so, they had earned the respect and judgment of all.